welcome to the Women's Rugby Pod. Later than normal this week, but we are still Johnny Hammond and Rachel Burford in the house, coming at you every week. 102 this episode. Burf, you barely look 2, let alone 102.
How are you, Johnny? How's your week been?
Living a dream. But of course, we know dreams are a gnat's breath away from nightmare. So you take whatever analysis you like from that. I'm excited, actually. I'm excited because we've got effectively, and I know they don't like calling it, but the Women's B Six Nations streaming this weekend, which I'm involved in. And I'm not sure they've streamed it before. So another good step, that sort of second tier of European rugby, getting out there. Spain are involved. Friend of the pod, Patricia Garcia is involved. Yeah, some tongue twisters in there with the Dutch and the Spanish. But yeah, just backing out with Rocky Clark tomorrow. So yeah, that's really exciting. I like new teams, and I like doing sort of little historical bits of broadcasting. So yeah, and it's just the bigger point is it's great that it's getting out there, and fair play to Rugby Europe.
Yeah, that sounds good.
You've had an interesting week. You look good in orange.
Oh, thank you. Thanks very much. A little shout out there to Adidas. Yeah, I've actually been a little bit poorly this week, and then I had an Adidas appearance on Wednesday, and my briefing was, it's only a little run, and then when I got the full briefing, it was a 5K. Now, rugby players aren't built to go for runs like that. Yeah, so my Adidas agent owes me one there, but yeah, no, it was good fun. It was an incredible initiative, and hopefully Jess Breach and I did a Q&A after, and I think we inspired a few people to go and pick up a rugby ball. We had a school teacher there that wants to now bring rugby into a school. So all in all, it was a really, really good evening.
Awesome, good stuff. And yeah, some rugby on last weekend, which we'll get into. But I think the biggest news of the week, and obviously Nadi will come at us later on with all the sort of global news. Sean Sharp this week, we were hoping to get a Colombian guest on, but they're a little wary ahead of their very, very important game with Kazakhstan today. So not able to get hold of one of them. But the big news here is coming out of New Zealand, isn't it? Hosts of the World Cup, contract. I don't know about you, but I just got a sense of it. It was a really emotional reception to the contract. Don't know what you felt.
Yeah, well, I think it's such a big deal. It's naturally going to have a lot of emotion that comes with it, for sure.
Yeah, of course, and a lot of these players. I mean, you look at. We're not going to name them all. That's all across our socials, and we shared it over the weekend. Charmaine McMenamin, Carla Hohepa, absolute star of the 2010 World Cup. Rennie Whitcliffe. These players, Amy Rule. These players, Chelsea Alley or Semple as she is now, Eloisa Blackwell. Been around, Kendra Coxage. Been around for a long, long, long time. And for them to get this reward in what is a big, big year for New Zealand hosting the World Cup and getting these contracts, it's absolutely, absolutely brilliant. And not sure how long they're going to last. Don't know the full details in terms of this is now the permanent way that New Zealand are going to do things, but things are just moving along. I mean, they had to, didn't they? After I guess the autumn had to make a response, but yeah, there's Super Rugby there, and now national contracts. It's all looking good.
Yeah, no, it really is, and I think when you go down that path of professionalism, it's very hard to not continue it. So hopefully, well, I would have thought so in terms of the Player Association working with the union to ensure the longevity of these contracts and not just for a short period of time, that there's a long-term plan for the players. And yeah, I'm delighted for them all because I've been there. We've been amateur the majority of our career, and then finally get that opportunity. And it is emotional, and it is incredible, and it's all a massive whirlwind. And the first thing I remember, we were kind of just saying thank you so much for doing this for us, when you shouldn't really be in that position, but that's just how you felt. You felt incredibly grateful for the opportunity, And so, yeah, I'm really pleased that those players get to have their job, their only job, being a rugby player.
And it's utterly life changing. I would say it's difficult to go back from professionalism. The RFU managed it, but they are a special bunch. Um, Sorry if Berth's sound is not particularly good this week, ladies. Her voice is echoing around her cavernous kitchen, her new build. So she's just bouncing off all the walls. That the wall behind is about 3.5 miles. That's the left wing wall. But yeah, she's a little echoey. So apologies for that. No, look, but back to the serious stuff. New Zealand, that's great news. Is another little step, isn't it, in the right direction for the women's game. The other thing I wanted to just pick up on is a little bit of Prem 15s at the weekend. Obviously, you were involved. Got to get their money's worth, haven't they? And you're out half the year, hobbling around on your crutches. It wasn't a formal round, but you played against Worcester, 42-15. How do you find them?
They're really challenging and really tricky. Like it was quite tight at half time, but they're a team that you've got to just stay in close proximity with them, and then the second half we could really open up. But look, they've got some absolute world class players across the board. You know, Olivia Thompson, Alex Matthews, just to name a couple. And so we knew that we had to play well, but we took the pressure off ourselves a little bit this week. You know, and like all teams, everybody is in that mode where high performance is so high on the agenda, and sometimes you can forget about the enjoyment element. And we just really wanted to make sure that we went out there and we enjoyed our rugby, and we played some really incredible stuff. Like some of our tries, they're running out of our 22 and scoring at home in front of our crowd was really special, and we really needed it. So they're a really tough opposition, but I was really proud at how we played as well.
And some nice little hands from Rachel Burfington's. The legendary hands we've always come to expect when we see the quartered 12. Some nice stuff. Well done, you. This weekend, a full line of fixtures. Now you're all as you are. All played 13. And I'm just going to remind you, because now it's all to play for now, isn't it? Because we are seriously in the business end of this season. And I just wanted to remind you of your top 4 predictions. And while Sunta's not here, whether you wanted to make any changes. No, you're not allowed to do that. You were Saracens, Bristol, Harlequins, Loughborough, Lightning.
Not in that order, but those 4, yeah.
Wow. No, you said Sarries, Quins, Bristol, Loughborough, Lightning.
I was going to say, I didn't think I'd put us up there.
Oh, second. You put yourself second.
Because of the results we've had.
Yeah, Bosh. There you go.
Proper tasty.
Really, really good games. Let's just remind you of the state of play going into those, and then we'll have a little chat and do some more predictions for this weekend. Saracens played 13. All played 13, as I say. 57 points. 7 points clear of Bristol on 50, obviously. Harlequins now on 45. Exeter 45 as well. It is your points difference of +2. 199 plays 197 that makes you above Exeter. Wow, that is tight. Was 6 points behind. And Loughborough Lightning on 36. Gloucester Hartbury on 35. Good luck those who predicted Loughborough Lightning. Not me.
You're not going to win this weekend?
I didn't say they couldn't win this weekend. I just don't think they'll make top 4. Sad as it is. Look, I think, yeah, and let's talk about it. They're doing a double header, aren't they? At Franklin's Gardens, of course, they've now partnered, Loughborough Lightning have now partnered with Northampton Saints in a sort of all very, very neat and tied up sort of Premiership type model. Discussion for another day. They are taking on Exeter Chiefs, as we say, at Franklin's Gardens. Let's go straight there then. Who's going to win that? Garcia,
not there.
Is in the dam.
Massive. I, with or without Garcia, even though she is a massive pivotal player, I just think Loughborough are on a really good roll at the moment. They've got a couple of players back as well this weekend, and I know they're missing it. Also, they're Scottish, but I just feel that they've got they've got the fight back in them that they had last season, and that we've seen come through midway through this season. I just think, and it's a massive occasion, and that's really hard for an Exeter to go into. And that raises your game. You know, when you're at Northampton, it's no, it's their second game there, isn't it? Was it their first game? Their first game there, so it's massive. It's massive for them. So that will lift all of them as an individual, and then collectively, hopefully, that will bring their performance. But I think Loughborough have the ability. And you know, Exeter have been winning, but very tight games in tight moments. So,
Okay, you're saying Loughborough Lightning. I'm gonna say the pressure goes on them, and you know, if you to call one side in the Premier 15s, you know, party poopers. You know, people who like to rip up scripts and what have you. Exeter would be that team for me, and therefore I'm going Exeter.
okay.
And also massively because Sudda's not here. Uh, Lovely. Okay, that's that one wrapped up. On to the next game. You are taking on
Sale Sharks.
Sale Sharks. Shouldn't have too many issues there.
No, I think we're definitely expecting a challenge. Last time we played against them, they really stifled our play. But we're confident enough that we have the ability to win that game. It's our last game essentially at the Stoop, our last league game. Should we win a home semi-final, then we'll hopefully be playing across the road at Twickenham. A big incentive there for us.
Is that breaking news?
Well, they
Are you now going to be in massive trouble? No, more to the point. Am I now going to be in massive trouble?
No. It was all in the press release. The big summer game.
Aha.
They're playing in. We will play in that if we've got a home semi-final, but they can't launch that because we're not guaranteed that. So right. It's kind of small print. We'll try and make it happen if we finish second.
Well, that's very poor. It looked like some sort of advert for a tombola, and I'm involved in a few summer fairs. I don't need it anymore, so I skipped over that one. That's bad news, isn't it? Saracens against Gloucester Hartbury.
I think Saracens will come out on top, but I think Gloucester, they're always a team that really push Sarries to the point where they've let it go a couple of times against them. It's always been a close encounter. So I think Gloucester will give them a really good game, but I think Popkill's on the bench. I think that they're going to have.
But with five games left, they're 10 points behind the top four now. Gloucester Hartbury, we're into must-win territory.
Yeah, I know that, but they're playing against Saracens.
I agree, Saracens all day. Wasps Bristol Bears. Oof.
I think Wasps are going to beat them.
Do you? Strong side.
Really strong side.
Strong, incredibly strong front row, despite the press release getting the props around the wrong way. Never fails to amuse me. Yeah. Harriet Millermills in the second row, Roe Burnfield, Claire Malloy back, Meg Jones back in, Boatman on the wing, Dow,
yeah. But then they've got Joyce, Reed.
Come on, where are you going?
I think Wasps can do it.
She's going Wasps. I'm going Bristol.
Is that just because I went Wasps, or?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
No, I think there's some steely resolve in the Ward camp, and and there's some proper grit there, and I think they will after the start they had, to see things slip away. And it's a bit like we said when you guys took on Saracens a couple of weeks back. If these are the kind of games where you really measure yourself as to how far you're going to go, and are you serious title contenders? And I think it's one of those kind of games for Bristol. It's not saying you're not going to win if you don't win this game, but it's one of those. I think it's a real big one for them, and I think they will pull through. What about Worcester DMP? We're going for
Worcester.
Joe Yapp's team, aren't we? Really?
Like when we played them last weekend, they were missing their Welsh players.
Yeah.
Hooker, 8, 9, really integral individuals to the team. So I think that they're massively.
Speaking of a Welsh number 8, Sinead Harris back in the Welsh squad. How good's that?
Yeah, really
deserves it.
100%. She's been outstanding for Worcester
for 2-3 seasons.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant ball carrier, full of energy, engine. It was interesting. I was talking to Ollie Phillips, who of course was in the Welsh camp for a little while before COVID struck and wasn't able to continue with his contract. But he was almost basing his 7-side around Sinead Harris because such a skill level and engine. And delighted that she's back being looked at by Wales. The Celtic Cousins, the other bit of news over from our Celtic Cousins is the Energy All Ireland finals will be televised, which is fabulous news over there. This good news just keeps coming from Ireland. So it's a few change of personnel, a few people standing up. Well, a few people, lots of very important people standing up saying, no, we've had enough. Small steps, and all small steps in the right direction. So fair play to that. We will catch up with the rest of the global news now with Nandi Buthelezi.
I'm Gary Street, and you're listening to the Women's Rugby Pod.
Thank you, Johnny, and hello to the WRP family. We do start off this week's news with the World Cup qualifiers, and there is a place in Pool A at the Delayed Rugby World Cup 2021. The final qualification tournament winner will join hosts New Zealand, Australia and Wales. Asian representatives Kazakhstan meet South American qualifiers Colombia in the semi-final at the Seven Stadium, with the winner going forward to play top seed Scotland in a once-off match to determine the final qualifier. The semi-final takes place on Saturday on the 19th of February, and it will kick off at 4:30 local time and 12:30 GMT, while the final is on Friday 25 February and kick off at 7 local time and 3 o'clock GMT. Scotland are favourites to progress through to their first Rugby World Cup since 2010. Colombia played a warm-up match against Spain A on the 10th of February ahead of the final World Cup qualification tournament, and Spain A came away with the win, winning 47-15. The European Rugby Championship 2022 kicks off this weekend with Spain taking on the Netherlands in Amsterdam. The Energia All Ireland League final for the first time will be broadcast live on television, and finals day on February 26 will see the league and conference finals compete, as well as the 3rd, 5th and 7th place playoffs take place. The league final and conference final will be broadcast live on TG4, a huge step forward for the competition. WRU released a 32-player squad for its upcoming training camp, which includes a match against England under-20s. This camp is to experiment with young talent ahead of formal Six Nations preparations. USA Barrio has selected a 28-player squad for Spain's national side. Las Leonas, Lord Alameda, Oliva Fresnada, Patricia Garcia, Anne Fernandez de Corres and Maria Garcia joined the squad after impressing in the Spain A game, whilst Bruna Elias and Liatusha return after COVID isolation. The Fijiana Drua will join the Bully Corp Super W Series tournament this year as a 5th team alongside the Melbourne Rebels, Brumbies, NSW Waratahs and Queensland Reds. They'll replace the President's 15 team that have competed last year. Last weekend, there was no formal round of the Premier 15s, but just a rearranged match between the Harlequins taking on Worcester, and it was Harlequins that walked away with the victory, winning that clash 42-15. This weekend in round 14, Harlequins will take on Sale Sharks, while Loughborough Lightning will take on Exeter Chiefs, and Saracens will host Gloucester Hartbury with Wasps taking on Bristol Bears and Worcester Warriors taking on DMP Sharks. Similarly, the English Championship returns with round 15 in the north, and Kenilworth will take on Lichfield, Loughborough Town will take on Forward Waterloo, Novocastrians will take on West Park Leeds, and Sefton will host Barnsley, and Cheltenham will host Harrogate. And in the south, Buckingham Swans will host Thurrock, Henley will go head-to-head against Bath, and Reading Abbey will go head-to-head against Old Albanians, while Richmond FC will host Supermarine, and Hove will take on Blackheath. Moving to Ireland in round 13 of the Energia or Ireland League, Ballincollig lost at home against Teutonians, losing that clash 34-22, while Cook also lost at home against Wicklow, and it was Wicklow that walked away with a 22-17 victory in that encounter. Galwegians getting a home victory against Malone, who didn't manage to get any points on the scoreboard, and that encounter ended in 41-0 to Galwegians. Old Belvedere lost heavily against Blackrock College, losing that clash 44-5. And in top of the table clash UI Bohemian and Railway Union, it was Railway Union that walked away with a victory, winning that clash 31-14. And next week, Blackrock College will take on Railway Union, Galwegians will host Ballincollig, Malone will take on Cook, Old Belvedere will go head-to-head against UI Bohemian, and Wicklow will take on Steutonians. Looking over to France in round 11 of Elite 1 this weekend, and in Pool A, Stade Toulousain will take on Lens, and Stade Rennais will take on ASM Rugbona, while Stade Francais will take on AC Bobogny, with FC Grenoble on bye. And in Pool B, Montpellier will take on Stade Bordeaux, and AC Bayonnaise will host Blackneck Rugby, while Lille will take on Chili Mazarin, and Lyon will be on a bye. After last weekend's confusion about the Liga Iberdrola, there are in fact some results this weekend, and Sanse Scrum lost at home against Complutense Cisneros, losing that game at 39-19, while Majadonda get a win against St. Kuga, winning that clash 26-8. Grat Residentia lost at home against Gutiva Cocos, losing that clash 35-5. Olympico de Pozzelo getting a close win against Eibar, winning that game 15-12. And there's one rearranged match this weekend, and it will be the Complutense Cisneros versus St. Kuga game that will be taking place. That's it from me. Catch you next week.
Hi, I'm Lydia Thompson, and you're listening to the amazing, world-class Women's Rugby Pod.
Nadi, thank you very much indeed. We're nearing the end, but who's going to win? Kazakhstan or Colombia?
Oh, I think Colombia will.
Oh, because they had a what game against Spain, a Spain 15 on the way through.
Yeah, I believe so. I think they probably just feel a little bit more prepared. They've got some players who've, had some experience around the sevens as well. So I think they have the skill set and the ability to beat Kazakhstan, who I just think haven't played enough rugby. But you can't write them off. They've been in World Cups before. So
yeah, I was going to say Kazakhstan have a decent World Cup history, actually. Doing some research for this Spain-Netherlands game. Yeah, they've got been to most World Cups, so it's going to be tight. So it's Scotland-Colombia in the sort of playoff final then. Come on, let's have your prediction for that.
Scotland.
Oh.
Back in Jade and the troops all the way.
Jade Goggle and the troops. We are hopefully speaking to the Scotland camp next week and getting very, very jealous of the fact they're out in the desert, sunning themselves. But it's massive, isn't it? It's a huge, huge, huge game for them. Load of pressure because they should win. And there's just that narrative, isn't there, that's been in amongst the squad for the last couple of months with the sad passing of Siobhan Cartigan and almost a sort of sense to do it for her. So, yeah, we're going to get inside the Scotland camp next week, and, yeah, Rachel Malcolm hopefully is going to join us on the pod. But we will just finish up with a couple of shout-outs to end the show, Rachel Burford. Derby Days on Apple Podcast.
I think I know who Derby Days is.
Oh, who?
I think it's Michelle Derby, and I used to play rugby with her at Medway Rugby Club.
Ah, well, if it is Michelle, whoever it is, thanks so much. Really, really lovely review you gave us. Wonderful 5-star review. And we hugely, hugely appreciate it. ladies and gents, we've got about 90 ratings on Apple Music, and roughly, look, literally thousands of people listen every week. So there's a slight disparity there. If you could just pop on, subscribe, hit the old 4 or 5 stars, whatever you want to do, 5 preferably, obviously. That would be, yeah, we do like the 5 stars. That'd be awesome. It massively helps because people want that return, don't they, in the commercial world. So yeah, if you could just do that, that would be great. Anyway, shout outs continue.
Yeah, we've got a shout out for Newbury RFC. There was a huge milestone in its club journey for its under-15s girls match last week against Abbey RFC. For the first time representing an all-female officiating team, Laura Lewis, Vicky Murdoch, Mason. So it's just such a great inspiration, isn't it, to all young female referees. So really, really good work to all of you.
Yeah, well done, Laura, Vicky and Meg Mason. Well done, all of them.
And also, similarly, another shout out to Hayley Dundaven, I think that's how you say it, and Halifax RFC, who have just been elected for the club's first female chair. So that's awesome. Congratulations to you guys.
Yeah. First female chair of the Rugby Club. That's another small step in the right direction. But to finish off our pod this week, we just wanted to add to many of the messages flying around the rugby family at the moment and send our condolences to Evesham Rugby Football Club after the incredibly tragic passing of Jack Jeffrey. Our thoughts go out to Jack's family, of course, and his friends, everybody at the club, and everybody who knew Jack. That's it for this week. As we say, we'll be back next week. We're, of course, regular as taxes, aren't we? Are taxes regular? Regular as clockwork? Something like that. Anyway, I'm going to just come up on my similes for next week. And Bev's going to get some new lighting in and the splashback. We're all waiting to see what the splashback looks like, I can assure you. Thanks to you, Bev. Thanks to Mandy. Thank you to Tom and to Bluebell. Thank you guys for listening. All the best to Kazakhstan and to Colombia. I'll catch you then.